Before we start the beat challenge, we're gonna get a little insight into your process, which I'm very excited to see how it goes from wax to through Logic and it becomes a hip hop beat. What type of gear do you use and what's your general approach to doing a track? Say I'm gonna bang out a beat today. What do you do?
I've been using Reason for like the last 10 years or so. My homie Slop Funk put me on it, told me I had to use it, so I've been using that up until now.
Okay.
I mean, I can go back and forth. I was going back and forth between that and Logic, and that's pretty much what I've been making beats in. I started out on the EPS 16 Plus, and one of the things that kind of drew me to Reason as far as why I continued to use it is gave me, I had sounds, but it allowed me to use software exactly the same way I would use the EPS. So it wasn't too much of a difference. I just had to, learn where to go. But the process of it was a lot like the EPS, and that's why, I kind of stuck with it. But, I like to start with, I just listen to music, and, kind of, it's weird. I don't like listen to anything like, oh, that's dope. It's something that's grabbing, whether it's just like the half bar of the end of a run, and I try to stretch that out or anything like that. But I guess I'll try to go with like something that reminds me of something, for the most part, as far as sampling.
So it needs to resonate with you personally.
Right. So it'd be maybe it's something my sister used to play, or reminds me of a moment, or it just reminds me of home, or reminds me of something. And it's like, okay, I can work with that, and I kind of take it from there. But like every beat that I make, I pretty much started kind of the same, but I don't do the exact same things every time. So it just depends on my approach and what I initially heard and what I want to do.
So you say you find a cut that inspires you, and you've already recorded it or sampled it. What are the various tools that you use to process the sound to get that Illastrate vibe? Obviously there's
it varies,
stretching and
it varies. Like I said, it just depends on what I'm trying to do. So sometimes it could be a loop, and I'll try to manipulate the loop as much as I can. You know what I mean? So whether it's breaking things down into pieces, and sometimes I'll just guess. Just see what it sounds like, and I don't have a lot of different process because I don't. A lot of times I like to take the kid approach, like I don't know what I'm doing, so I just kind of just try stuff, and
get the happy accidents.
Yeah, and sometimes it just doesn't work at all, and I had to learn to be cool with that, because early on it's like, oh, it's not a banger, it's like you want everything to be like that, but that's even the process to get to that point too.
Knowing when to trash the project.
Yeah, man, and just I always say knowing what's whack is more important than knowing what's dope. Because knowing what stands out. So,
is there a specific genre or time period or type of record that you gravitate to when you're digging?
I guess I would, not to sound cliche, but just like soul records. Like it's what I grew up around mostly, and I like a lot of like Burt Bacharach type stuff.
Okay.
So, the romantic strings and the 101 string records. Like I like a lot of those for some reason. Maybe because I think it may be because of just watching cartoons growing up, and like the time of Jerry, they would have these like orchestra strings and like just that type of music.
Yeah. And that's so clean. It gives you a chance to dirty it up.
Yeah. I mean, and you can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, but I guess those are what I gravitate towards. Like, and I know, like all producers, I always look at what producers sample more so than what they sound like, because a lot of producers sample a certain type of music, mostly. You know what I mean? And like even the greats is like they're, and I've heard Premier say it, like he was drawn to the records he grew up on. You know what I mean? And it's like when I listen to anything, it's like, man, does this remind me of anything? And I'll just be sitting here listening. Whoa, shit, that was, right? Catch something that way. So.
And it's no matter where you pull from, it still ends up being yours.
Right.
Because you work it in a way only you do.
Right.
Well, I know you've probably seen every record under the sun. A seasoned producer like you, so I was challenged today to come up with a record that I think you probably haven't heard before.
Okay.
So I was at Criminal Records this morning, and I picked up a local artist on vinyl by the name of Small Reactions. And no, they are not a soul group.
Small Reactions.
Small Reactions. It's a LP, should be plenty. I listened to it through, and it's got some good moments on it. What's that?
Atlanta?
Yeah, they're an Atlanta band. So Illa's going to be sampling from this record from a local band with a 20-minute beat challenge. You know the restrictions, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna hit you with a tempo, the record obviously, and then the time constraint of 20 minutes. We'll have the clock running, so you got to work fast.
Word.
But
should I open this now?
I'll give you a head. Go ahead and open it. We'll be back with a 20-minute beat challenge with Illustrate.
Word up.
We got the timer set for 20 minutes. I've handed over the record, Small Reactions, to Illustrate. Let's see what he can do. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
We're about 2 minutes in. Illa's just going through the record now. He's starting to find some tasty little nuggets. Let's see what he uses. He's found a sample. He's recording it down to Logic now. Sounds like he's moving on from the record player to the laptop. Let's see what he does with it. What's the name of that kick?
Can't tell you.
Ooh, good name.
I knew.
Woo!
Let's go.
Just under 10 minutes into the 20-minute beat challenge, halfway there, over halfway there. Some drums are going down. He's got the sample loaded into his sampler, and I'm starting to hear something somewhat musical.
Illastrate, working class. Ed Williams. You'll
reactions. I'm here at Couch with the fellas in Edgewood, Atlanta, Georgia. This is the record that we presented Illustrate. He had 20 minutes to make a beat with music from these guys right here. Here's what he did with your music.
That's rad.
That's what he did with it.
Cool.
So let's get your reactions. Clinton, what does it feel like? First of all, do you recognize, are you able to discern what song that came from?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was similar. It was similar fame.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
The title's
Title's-
rad.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know what the lyric is that's muddled back in there
Oh
somewhere?
man, I couldn't really tell, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, I
because
know
when
the
it's
melody.
tough and not,
Yeah.
and you know, because you're like anticipating like the change of chords or whatever, so it like doesn't happen, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
You're
I couldn't tell exactly what the lyric was.
Yeah.
But
It sounds like I'll be okay or something.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's what lay awake or
Right.
something.
oh yeah, maybe that. Yeah.
What was it?
As I lay awake. Or,
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. Something like that.
What's your impression, Sean?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was not what I expected in a good way. Like it was trippy. Like it was
Yeah.
pretty rad. Yeah.
Were you expecting just kind of a chunk loop with drums over
More
it?
or less,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because I always think of samples as like, I mean, obviously I'm biased, but as like drum based. But that was like, I mean, it was like almost revolving around the lyric and then the guitar line, like in its own little world. Like I don't know, it's pretty great.
It sounded like saxophones or something.
Right, yeah,
It sounded-
yeah.
yeah.
You'll see the process that went into it. The drums came last, you know, and it took him a minute to actually find the sample, and I think he was 10 minutes in before I'm like, he doesn't even have a loop established yet. I don't think he's
Right.
gonna make it. And then all of a sudden it became coherent in the last run. Well, all right, that does it for Here Now.
Study.